Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. I hope you're all well. I'll start off with a little housekeeping to give everybody a bit of chance to join. As Mark has put in the chat, if you have any questions, just add them in the chat window as we go along, and we'll try and get to them at the end of the session. The session will be recorded, and you will get links to it that you can share, or if you want to go over anything, and you'll get that in the next few days. So today I'm going to look at updates that announced by Microsoft back in January now. Apologies for the cancellation last time out, but matters arise, as they say. So what I'm going to look at is Copilot Chat, and hopefully bring some clarity to what that means to you as end users. Okay, so let's look at what I'm talking about. So most, if not all of you, have had the free Copilot licenses for your staff placed in your tenancies by Microsoft. This license is Copilot, which you use within the browser, but it's protected within your tenancy as long as you've signed into that browser. Before I look at what is new, I think it's important to clarify what Copilot Chat is not. When people think of Copilot, they think of the version that is built into the Microsoft 365 apps, such as Outlook, Teams, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. That version is called Microsoft 365 Copilot, and it's the paid version and has access to your documents and internal data for generating responses. When you look at the slide, the feature set here are shown in the far right column. As you can see, it's got more features than the chat version has. When we move on to Copilot Chat, the first thing you will notice is Microsoft has changed its name. It used to be called Copilot. It's now been renamed to Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. While Microsoft Copilot is now just used for the personal version of Copilot. So for people who want to use it at home, that is now called Microsoft Copilot. And Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is the free version that anybody with a Microsoft license has. To be honest, I'm struggling to keep up with this naming as well. But Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is now the free version that you have. But along with the name change, there's a few important updates to the product you should know about. So Copilot Chat, which is based on data from the web, now includes Pages, which is an editor where you can copy Copilot responses from your prompts and share and edit those responses with your colleagues working on the same project. You can now upload files such as Word or PowerPoint files to query or summarize those documents into Copilot Chat. You can also generate AI images based on your prompts in the free chat version now. Copilot agents as well, which have been created in Copilot Studio for repetitive day-to-day tasks at work, can now be used within chat, and they can even access your work data. More about that as we move on. And finally, Copilot Chat now includes some of the Copilot management capabilities, including data protection and reporting. So some useful updates here, and I'm going to dive into those in more details as we move through the slides. So who can get this free Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat? Well, a lot of you will, if not most of you, will already have it in your tenancies. Microsoft place it in your tenancies. And as you can see from the slides, as long as you've got a Microsoft agreement with any of those licenses, and that's academic, enterprise, and business licenses, are all entitled to Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. Any of you who have licenses outside of education, who can buy their licenses with or without Teams, are eligible either way. So any license you have will work. As I've mentioned in the past, students under 18 aren't currently eligible due to ChatGPT age consent rules. Microsoft working on it, but still nothing on that as of yet. So firstly, I'm going to look at what is Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is the full paid version. Hopefully, this will help you clarify the differences between the two versions. This version includes the browser-based Copilot Chat, but it is also built into the Office apps like Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, you name them, it's there. It is also grounded, or it accesses your OneDrive and SharePoint data to enable the prompts to reason or generate content over your work data. So you can query Teams meeting transcripts or summarize daily emails in Outlook. You can create Word documents from scratch or ask questions of long documents. You can create a PowerPoint based on that Word document and analyze data in Excel. All of this makes it a powerful tool that you can save time in your day-to-day work. Now, a recent addition to Copilot is agents, and Microsoft see agents as a way for establishments to use their AI in their day-to-day work. This saves time with specific repetitive tasks. They are building pre-built agents for this version of Copilot, probably the most anticipated of which is a live interpreter or translator for Teams meetings. There's a lot of differences between Chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot, but the differences are beginning to blur with more features being added to Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat to give it its full name. So if we move back to Chat then, the main difference is in Chat that it's not built into the Office apps, and it does not reason over data in SharePoint and OneDrive. So looking at some of the new features, Microsoft have now added pages into this, and they've also moved the application into the Microsoft 365 apps page, which you all have access to, which as you can see the link there, microsoft365.com/copilot now opens up the chat window within the Microsoft 365 app. And in there, you can see you've got pages as an option in there. So as I said earlier, pages is a tool for editing responses to your prompts. So if you see the little image in the top right corner, you can see that it's got a button called Edit in Pages. So you can take your Copilot response and it takes it into Pages, this bottom page here, where you will have the full response where you can now edit it and change it, and you can share it with your colleagues for them to edit as well. And there's a Pages tab in the Microsoft 365 app that gives you a list of all the pages that you were working on for you to go back to and edit. So an useful feature that's already in the paid app, but it's now in the free app. I've already mentioned that the free version of Copilot Chat is grounded in the web and not your Microsoft Graph data. What this means is that the prompt does not reason over files you have in SharePoint, but you can now add a file to your prompt, and Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat will reason over just this file, allowing you to do things like summarizing a document. You do this by clicking the paper clip link in the prompt window when you want to reference a file, and that will then allow you to summarize a file, query the file, whatever you want to do. This content can be from your Microsoft 365 data in SharePoint or OneDrive. So this is a big step forward, but it has limits, including the file size and the number of daily files you can access. And you are only working on a single file instead of reasoning over a whole set of data on a project or a topic. So even though it gives you access to your files, it still has its limitations. While we're looking at additional features in chat, you can also now prompt to create and edit images, as well as prompt for code generation. Again, these features have limitations applied to them. So if these are things you want to do a lot in a day, the paid for version is probably still your best option. But as you can see, the boundaries are starting to blur between the two. I've already mentioned agents in Microsoft 365 Copilot, the paid version. Now agents have been introduced into the free chat version. And agents are used to automate and execute business processes to save time in your daily tasks. They can be simple prompt agents to query a SharePoint site full of technical knowledge base or H, such as technical knowledge bases or a HR site for student onboarding. Both these applications would use a prompt agent to ask a question like, how do I change my password? Where are the holes of residence? Or how do I find my timetable and map of the campus? Or they can be automated workflows that you can use to create simple tasks for you. More complex custom engine agents, such as the live interpreter, are currently not available in the free chat, only in the paid version. Today, I heard that Adobe are creating an Adobe Express agent to create graphics within Copilot to give you more control over the graphics that you can create just from a prompt. As I've said before, they're not in chat currently, but the plan from Microsoft is to introduce them in the future. These agents will have been created for you in Copilot Studio, or you can create your own in Copilot Studio. As you can see from the above, you will see that the agents can reason over SharePoint sites. So now you can create generative answers based on projects or certain topics areas. The gotcha here now is that these are going to be paid for. So if you're using agents and referencing SharePoint data, you will have to pay for this on basically a pay-as-you-go basis. I'll go into how you do that in in a couple of slides. But what you basically need is Copilot Studio and message packs, and then use of those agents will use up your message packs. Microsoft Vision is that everyone will be using agents for specific tasks, with Lois users using the metered agents and power users using the full Microsoft 365 Copilot product. So that's Microsoft Vision of where things are going. So that in the past, they thought that everybody would want a full paid version, but now they see a mixture of both of these being used in an establishment. So Copilot Studio, it's a platform, and it allows you to create AI agents using Gen AI and low-code tools. These agents can be used on your Office 365 data, such as SharePoint as OneDrive, but there's already 1,500 pre-built connectors that allow you to connect to other applications such as Salesforce or ServiceNow are some of the main ones Microsoft push, but there's 1,500 of these agents already there. Connectors, you can build your own connectors as well. So as well as some of the examples we discussed earlier, you can create agents for anything you can imagine, well, to a point. But some more examples would be for project management, product recommendations, travel arrangements. You will have your own needs within your establishments. Okay, so within the free Copilot Chat, if you use agents, you may need to pay for their use. So there's several ways to achieve this. Firstly, you can buy Copilot Studio message packs. These message packs are for 25,000 messages per month. Yeah, and you would get these messages. They don't carry over from month to month, and you can buy multiple packs to suit your needs. Or what you can do with an Azure subscription, you can buy these, you can get these messages then on a per message basis. So let's say you only wanted something like 100 messages a month. That might be a better, more cost-effective solution for you. And these agent costs would be covered for within a fully paid Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So if you've got a Copilot license, they would be covered, but for the free version, you would need to buy these license packs. Now, this is where things get a little complicated, because what Microsoft have done is they have assigned different weights to different message types. By that, I mean certain types of prompts and messages will use more computer resources in Microsoft's data centers. Therefore, they have assigned different weightings to these. So for instance, if you ask a simple prompt, what are the school's opening hours, for instance? That's a very simple answer. It would look at a page, no need to reason over it with AI, and it would be built up with one message. But if you ask a question such as, is the school open over Easter? That is using AI to see what date is Easter, what time is the school open, and bring you back an answer. But if all that information was held in your SharePoint site and you're pointing to the SharePoint site to get that answer, they would charge you 30 messages for that question. Yep, so depending on what you are doing, the amount of messages used for each question will be different. I hope all that makes sense. Not too complicated, but when you're developing or creating your own app, you'll have to have a think through all of this to decide how many messages you think will be used. Okay, Microsoft have added some management tools for Copilot Chat as well. Now, these can determine who has access to the chat app and where, so you can enable and disable access. By default, the chat app is available in the Microsoft 365 app. So by going to that website and logging in, you get access to the app. However, if you want, you can pin the app into Outlook and into Teams, and you can access it from those user interfaces. However, even though they're pinned in Outlook and in Teams, they cannot reason over messages or emails because it is not grounded in Office 365 data, and the paid product is. So it would be in Teams for ease of use for somebody who's constantly in Teams, but it doesn't reason over that Teams data. There's also things like usage reports available in the portal to monitor the utilization of the data. So that's a quick look at Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. That's all I'm going to talk about here on Copilot. But I want to finish quickly on a couple of other pieces of news. So I've mentioned this previously. Back in July, after Microsoft introduced Fabric, they decided to remove the Power BI premium capacity SKU. Now, a few of you may have this, not too many, but the Power BI premium capacity was an option for you to have Power BI with Power BI Pro just for the developers. Everyone else could view the reports free of charge. Now, Microsoft have removed this part number. And from January, you are no longer able to purchase these licenses. However, all is not lost. You have a couple of options. If you move to Fabric, but it would have to be at level 64, you can still create the dashboards with Power BI Pro and publish them to everyone for free. But if you do this, you will have a feature uplift because you're using all the data analysis tools available in Fabric, but that brings with it a price uplift as well. You will then also need to migrate all your workspaces into Fabric, and there are tools available if you have a lot of workspaces to migrate. It's not going to affect a lot of you, but I know some of you have got Power BI Capacity Edition, Power BI Premium Capacity Edition. There's also the option, you can still get Power BI Pro licenses for any users that publish and view the report, so you can go that way as well. And, talk to your account managers to see what is the most cost-effective option for you. Okay, finally, some of you will be aware that Windows 10 is coming end of life in October, and Microsoft have extended support packs you can purchase for 3 years as needed. You don't have to buy them for the 3 years, but when you manage to upgrade to Windows 11, you can stop paying. But these are fairly affordable at £1 each in the first year. Microsoft have also announced that Office 2016 and Office 2019 are also coming end of life this October. However, Microsoft are not releasing extended support packs for Office. So if you're working to Cyber Essentials, in reality, even if you're not, you should be looking to upgrade your Office installations at your schools and colleges. You have two options. There's Office 2021, which is coming end of life pretty soon. I think it's 2026, not 2025, as I've got in the slide there. Apologies for that. Or there's Office 2024. Or you can download the Microsoft 365 apps onto your device. So there's no extended support packs here. If you want to keep your environment secure, you need to upgrade Office. And you can choose which version suits you. Okay, that's it for today. But before we go into any questions, our next webinar will be on the 9th of April, a little earlier because of Easter. I'm going to pass you over to Mark to see if there's any questions or if there's anything else you want to say, Mark.
Yeah, so I've pasted the link to the registration to next month's webinar in the chat, so that's there ready to go. I'm just going to launch the usual quick poll as well, so we appreciate if you can just fill that in. It only takes sort of 10 seconds or so just to make sure these are relevant to you and improved in future. So that should be popping up. So I can't see any questions at the moment, so please, if you do have any, please post them in the chat. But I mean, just to kick things off, in terms of the agents being paid then Eifion, is there a risk that customers might incur unexpected charges even within the free versions? Because you said it's like that pay-as-you-go sort of model.
Yeah, well, the answer is no, but you have to manage the agents. You have to go into the Microsoft 365 admin portal, and there are tools in there to enable and disable the chat itself. There are tools to enable and disable agents and to choose which agents you want users to be able to get access to. So there is a risk, but you can overcome them by doing a small amount of work in the admin portal.
Yeah, so there are controls there.
There are controls
mitigate those risks then.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. That sounds good. Right, we've reached 11:30, so there's no questions at the moment. But yeah, if anyone's got any, just follow up afterwards. So back to you to close, I think, Aves.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, we just had one. Right, one's just come through. So we have A5 licenses in our 365 tenant. If we want to set up a chatbot using Copilot, do we need additional licenses?
Okay, so the chatbots are created in Copilot Studio. The free licenses allow you to create some Copilot agents, very simple ones. However, what you would need is Copilot Studio. The Copilot Studio itself is free of charge, but you need message packs to actually run any of the applications. So you would need the A5 license doesn't include Copilot Studio. That's basically the answer to your question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's it for the questions then at the moment, Eve.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for your time as always. And hopefully we'll see you next month. Thanks again. Bye.